Hello, hello, hello. This is Racket. How are you doing? Hope you are having a fantastic day. So, before I will start doing a storytelling, I'm gonna play my little music. It is one of those things that I kind of like. It keeps me going. I should say as far as talking. So, hang on a moment. And that is loud. So last night we ended up in Idaho, and it was probably 7. I'm just gonna go ahead and say 8 o'clock. As we're passing through the town of Parma, Rebel asked me if we saw a big light, and he asked me if that would be a okay place for us to rest for the night. I said sure, why not? It's getting late, we're getting tired, so might as well just take a rest. Well, before we made a left turn, I just happened to look on my left, and I saw this like a tombstone, and it said it's a historical place. I said, ooh, that's kind of interesting. So didn't say much to Rebel, and we parked. And when I got out, I've noticed that it's like less than 5 minutes walk. All we have to do is get out of the parking lot and across the street that's where it's at. So I told Rebel that maybe he said at first, well, we made it to our destination, and I said, good, then let's get out, because I've noticed something across the street, and that must be something that you might also like to find out. He asked me what it is, and I said, well, I don't really know, but it's said in there that it's a historical site. So we did, and we're kind of like rushing through time. It's because it is getting darker, and going to a historic site when it's getting darker, it's kind of a challenge. So we went there, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and start segmenting things that we found, so this way I have a few days of podcast running through what we discovered yesterday at Parma, Idaho. One thing that came to our attention is this big statue, and he looks kind of angry. He's holding a stick, and I said, okay, this is kind of interesting. I did a video of it. I took a picture, and I realized there's an engraving at the bottom. It said it's Bigfoot. So what I did was it got me curious, so I start Googling about him, who he is. And I would like to tell you a story, because to me this is very, very important. This is something that probably not a lot of people know, because first of all, if you do not travel, you will never know what's out there as far as like roadside America attraction. But because we travels a lot, so my way of sharing it to whoever is listening to my podcast is my way of saying, hey, we discovered something and we would like you to know about it. So if you happen to be passing through Parma, Idaho, you might also look around and find and see what we saw. So let me start by saying that Bigfoot, it's actually the Indian tales of Bigfoot. And his real name was Star Wilkinson, son of a white father, Archer Wilkinson, who died by, I apologize if this kind of a graphic words I'm going to use, because this is what it is, and I'm not going to go and sugarcoat the word itself just to sound pleasant, because that's not what I am after. I am more into like just telling you the way it is. So anyway, so his name is Star Wilkinson, who died by hanging, and the Cherokee Native African American descendant mother. That is the Bigfoot's name. He had only Star Wilkinson only had a quarter Indian blood in him, but he proudly considered himself as Indian. The man was big, about 6'9" tall, and weighed about 270 pounds of muscle and bone. His hands were big and his feet measured in 18 inches from heel to toe. He was shy around women. One tale tells of his leaving his native Oklahoma, traveling to Oregon by wagon trail. In the same wagon was a petite girl that attracted him. His awkward advances caught the eyes of a fellow passenger, who pulled out a gun and shot him in the shoulder. The infuriated Bigfoot grabbed the man by the throat, stripped him of his belongings, and when the wagon stopped to water the horses in a Snake River, he tossed the body and fled the scene. Thus, his life of attacking and robbing miners and settlers in their home, as well as stagecoaches and wagon trails in Idaho, began. His specialty was horses stealing because of their trade value. Seldom riding one, it is said he could travel faster than a horse in a long run and could go into places that a horse would not go. At dawn, at Bluff Station near the present New Plymouth, a freight train of 20 wagons was camped out of the Piat River. Horses were being exchanged for fresh ones when the driver were surprised by Indians who rode off with 10 head of horses. That's interesting. So that was just the story. And according to that, there was a gun battle ensued and 2 Indians were killed. But the third was a giant fellow who started running, herding the horses ahead of himself. Wow, just imagine that. The post jumped back on their horses and galloped after the herd, but the riderless horses got to the Snake River ahead of them. The Indian drove the horses into the water and jumped in himself. He was last seen herding the horses up the bank on the other side. Dismounting, the posse checked the footprints. They were huge, twice the size of a normal man's print. It was Bigfoot. In July of 1868, an imported gunman, John W. Wheeler, had some fine horses stolen near Silver City. He learned that the thief and 2 Indian companions planned to hold up the stagecoach on the Boise Silver City road south of the Snake River. Waiting in the bush at the hold-up location, he saw the Indians coming. Firing, he killed 1 Indian and another took off running. Bigfoot came on standing up and demanding that Wheeler come out into the open. Wheeler stood up and fired. Bigfoot was hit and tried to run, but he got shot twice more as he dropped his empty gun. Drawing his knee, he lunged at Wheeler, who then emptied his rifle into Bigfoot's barrel-like chest. That didn't stop Bigfoot. Okay, that's just the story. With his revolver, Wheeler broke the giant's leg and arm. That stopped Bigfoot. As Bigfoot lay dying, Wheeler put out a pint of whiskey and the Indian finished it up before he died. Wheeler refused to collect the $1,000 reward. There's an old superstition among thieves that to collect a reward for a dead man who had been a fellow criminal was to be hunted by him. Who would want to be hunted by Bigfoot, right? And then on August 22, 1974, at the site of Old Fort Boise near Parma, which is going to be another podcast because we had a picture of that yesterday, a monument was dedicated to Bigfoot. The way I look at it, this is more like it's a kind of a Robin Hood story. But it's like I said, this is one of those undiscovered roadside attraction that not a lot of people will know. And for me to share it to you, I really hope that one day when you pass through Parma, Idaho, look around you. You will see the statue of the Bigfoot they said. There you have it. And as usual, this is Rocket saying, have a wonderful day. Bye.